Good morning! Halika, magkape tayo. Welcome to the morning coffee with Father Jerry. Our text for today's gospel reflection comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verses 17 to 27. It says, "This is my command, love one another. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Remember what I told you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they will obey yours also. They will treat you like this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. Whoever hates me hates my Father as well. If I had not done among them the works no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin. As it is, they have sinned, and yet they have hated both me and my Father. But this is to fulfill what is written in their law. They hated me without reason. When the advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth, who goes out from the Father, he will testify about me. And you will also must testify, for you have been with me from the beginning." Thus is the reading for today. What is God's message for us based on the gospel today? The central words of this passage are those in which Jesus says that his disciples have not chosen him, but he has chosen them. In short, the gospel just read, although coming from John ulit, medyo malalim nga ito, but the whole point in the gospel, lalo na kung ituloy-tuloy natin ito, isang motivation meron ang text for us today. Isang purpose lang. It is a reminder that in this vocation or calling or invitation where we are into this ministry, it's a text that reminds us all that it is not we who chose to be in the ministry. It is not we who chose ourselves to be in the field, to be in the vineyard, working in the vineyard to proclaim the kingdom and the kingdom values. It is a reminder from us, primarily, it's God who chose us, not us choosing God. So let me share with you, kung itutuloy natin ang text na nga dito, it's about Jesus is the visible reality or presentation of the unseen Father. And on the other hand, we who are invited into the vineyard, who are committed into the ministry, we as no longer servants, but we who are disciples, workers of the field in the vineyard, we also are representations of the unseen Jesus. So the Father represented by Jesus. Jesus is represented by us, his disciples, his workers of the vineyard. So ang expectation is that our work or the productivity of our work, ano bang description ito? Our work should be a work of witnessing na through our work, nakita or naipakita natin ang unseen reality who invites us into the field, and that is Jesus. Although paikot-ikot ang buong teksto sa representation between Father and Jesus being hated by the world, and so therefore the Father is also hated by this world because what has been done to the Son is also been done or undone to the invisible Father. So doon ang umiikot-ikot ang text ni John in this gospel reading today. Pero ang line of thought yung inexplain ko, ang takbo ng buong text is Father represented by the Son, and the Son is being represented by his disciples, and his disciples are us. And expected from the work of his disciples, tayo yon ay yung bunga ng ating gawa o gawain ng ating ministry ng ating simbahan. Ano bang challenge meron ditong gospel for today? Anong meron dito ngayon? Ang central point ng gospel is about us, his disciples. We have not chosen him, but it's him choosing us. Sa text ni Matthew, very clear ang pagkasulat doon about invitation of Jesus to his disciples. Yung sinasabi na itong three important elements. Ang gusto kong focus dito ngayon. When he said, "It is I who chose you, not you choosing me. I chose you." Number one. Number two, I chose you to be with me. That's number two. Number three, I chose you to be with me because I want you to be sent out to others. That's number three. And number four is he wants us, who expected us, that as we go and make disciples, he wants us to bear more and more fruits. I think that's the complete text coming from Matthew about God choosing us as his disciples. Text natin number one. I chose you. Yes, coming from the text today, John and Matthew. Totoo po yun. I chose you. Ibig sabihin ito, who you are, what you are, and including the good, the bad, and the ugly in you. Still, God insists in choosing you. I chose you. Hindi yan sinasabing pinipili lang ni Lord. Hindi yan ang kanya mga invited to play the role as His disciples. Hindi yun mga pili, hindi sila mga tawagin natin mga selected few or the best among the best. No. When God chose you, that includes everything in you. Who you are, what you are, who you who you have, and what you have. Underline it, the good, the bad, and the ugly in you. Include yan. Why? Because element number 2 is this. I chose you because I want you to be with me. Being with me is the time by which He will nurture us. It's the time that He will teach us. It's the time that He will lead us. It's the time that He will restructure our lives, restructure our weaknesses, our limitations. It's the time that we are formed and transformed. And being with me is the time that we come to know more about Him as our Master. It's the time that we become more closer to Him. Kung may term pa, more closer to Him. It's the time by which dinadissect natin sino si Jesus sa ating buhay at sino tayo para sa Kanya. It's a time by which we learn, know, and come to love and come to conclusion. At the end, we're able to say, yes, I come to know Jesus because I was with Him and He was with me. In short, ito yung time sa training ng seminary formation. Ito yung time na dadaan tayo sa formation and training months after months, year after year, just for us to know more about Jesus, His teachings, His commandment, and so on. So, I chose you. I chose you to be with me. So, lahat ng mga bagay-bagay na nakita natin sa ating sarili, tinatawag nating mga weaknesses, tawagin natin weaknesses, o mga bagay-bagay na nakikita natin hindi siya worth of being a disciple. Lahat magkakaroon ng pagbabago dahil there is a time by which we come to know more of Jesus. Formation, transformation. Take note, you are not sent out yet. After that, number 3. And number 3 is, I will send you out to others. In short, hindi pala automatic yung pag-send, pag-commission ng mga apostles. Hindi pala automatic na after learning about Jesus, His name about Jesus, pinadala sila agad-agad. No, there was a process. My time by which Jesus lived life with them. And it was the time of knowing more about Him. So itong third aspect, after that orientation or learning more about Jesus, nakita niya na silang lahat ay naging handa na. And third element, it's the time that He commissioned them when He said, go and proclaim the good news. Go and continue the work we have started. That's number 3. And number 4, He said, go and be more productive. Go and produce more fruit. Fruit or fruits, whatever. So ito yung 4 elements coming from the context of the text of Matthew. Na shortcut lang itong kay John dito. Kinompleto ko na siya. So, 4 elements by which Jesus invites us, calls us to be with Him. I chose you. You did not choose me. I chose you because I want you to be with me. And to being with me, I want you to know me more and I want you to know you more. Nurturing, making disciples. And third, I'm doing this for you because I'm getting ready for you because you will be sent out to others to proclaim the good news of the kingdom. In fact, kung idagdag mo dito, meron siyang pahabol. Ang pahabol niya, ito yon. We need to cling to the pahabol na sinasabi niya. I will be with you until the end of time. That's a promise. 2 days ago, I said something to you. This work is not yours, is not mine, is not ours. It's His. We are only invited to work, to cooperate into God's plan. Dahil in-invite tayo, tinuturuan niya tayo, ninonurture niya tayo, take note of that. Hindi kanya pababayaan along the way in our life as disciples of Jesus. Mga kapatid, yan din ang challenge sa atin. Challenge sa atin is to feel assured that we are not one in this work of mission in the church. Okay? So magandang umaga ulit sa inyong lahat. Don't forget your coffee and magandang buhay. See you tomorrow.